There's a bottle.
Hello. 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 Hey, there it goes. Good evening, and welcome to our spectacular. This is your second jazz band here, and you just heard a tune called "It's Only a Matter of Time." And who do we hear from there? We heard Ben Canfield on alto. Hey, Madison, okay. So shy, so shy. And we'll continue with a song. I can pronounce it correctly this time. Get over this. All right, there we go. Stand up if you play on that. Was it Gabby on trumpet?
All right. Green lights on.
Thank you. It's on. Hello. All right, so now you can turn the lights off on us because that was our last tune. That was on Green Dolphin Street. And who's that? That's once again Madison Laguna. Oh, yeah, stand up again. And you also heard from Ben Canfield. And Mr. Denari Goffman. All right, okay, well, that concludes our portion, and Jazz One will be up in just a moment. Check.
So the last couple of years, as we've done this event, it just happens to line up on the same day with the what used to be the AAJE Jazz Clinic at Catalina Foothills. Actually, a long time ago, it was at Nogales High School, but it's been at Cat Foot for, I don't know, 10 years or so. And the last few years, and they've moved it to the same day as our spectacular. So it's a long day for the jazz kids. Both jazz bands went this morning, and I remember one of the things that one of the clinicians mentioned to me in the hallway. That's an event where they play on stage a little bit, then the clinicians work with them, and then they split all into sections. And there's a clinician for the trombones, and one for the trumpets, etc. And I remember this afternoon, one of them came up to me and after hearing this band and said, "Man, you just keep reloading it every year." And that's been true, especially since we started the second jazz band. It's pretty typical for high school jazz bands to kind of go in cycles. You have a bunch of good players, then you have people that are struggling a little bit, then but since we've started our second jazz band, it seems like we're always filling up the band with people that have had a year or so of experience playing jazz. So adding that second jazz band has really bumped up the level of the jazz program here. And as a result, this band has been invited to play at the Midwest Clinic. I'll talk a little bit about that later. But we're working on a set, plus there's a few extra tunes that we've been working on, but we're working on an hour-long set to play up in Chicago later next month. We're going to start off with a Duke Ellington tune called Such Sweet Thunder, but this is not his version. This is a pretty brand new modern arrangement by Mike Kamuff, and it's one of the pieces we're going to be playing up in Chicago. Thank you. Sorry we didn't have a light down there. We get all the way here this afternoon. Jack's got a vibes part on that, and it's like 5 o'clock. He goes, "Hey, all the vibes are down there." So it worked out. Come on up now. So that tune featured, let's see, John Sheehan on trumpet, and Denali Kaufman on trombone, Danny Canfield on tenor, Aaron Helm on drum set, and last but not least, Zach Bell on alto. And we're gonna do a tune that features Zach right now. This is another Ellington tune, but the original Ellington tune, the original version of this tune, maybe the only version that's available, and it's called Banquet Scene. One of the interesting things about I'm super confused. What? It's okay, just sit over there, it's fine. Just sit there. Dress like that, you can go anywhere. One of the interesting things about playing up at the Midwest Clinic, one of the interesting things about playing at okay, we're going to play a Miles Davis tune. It's a new version of a piece called Dear Blues. You guys need to sit down now. Hey, that was Ben Canfield on tenor. Hey, before we play our last tune, I have some words to say, and this is super important stuff. Hey, Leandra, can we maybe bring up the house lights a little bit? We're about to hear the last performance of our marching show. This is one of my favorite shows to do because we get to see it indoors. We don't wear hats so you can see their faces, and I always get a little choked up because I've been living with this music for about a year now, and we started it with the band back at band camp, and I could see the looks on some of their faces, especially the new people. They're like, there's no way we're going to play this music on the field and march around. And little by little they got the marching, and then little by little they got the music, and then somehow by the end they got the marching and the music together. And it's been one of the most enjoyable shows to put together and to teach and clean and perform with since I've been here. It's a really great show. You're going to hear it in a few minutes. But before I do that, I want to mention some people that really, we couldn't do this without a lot of these people, a lot of help. And there's no way I'm going to name every person and get everyone right, but I'm going to try to get everyone. So I was wondering if maybe I'm going to announce some of the people that headed up some of the sections, and then I'm going to ask anyone else that worked in that area to stand up. And just stay standing so we can all see, just because it's always impressive even to me, because I only get to see chunks of it at a time. I see the uniform people doing their stuff, and I see the braiders, and then I see the water crew, but it's always amazing to me when I see how many people actually helped out and put in their time and effort to make this work for their kids. So I would like to, and these are volunteers. I'm talking about people putting in extra time to make this work for their kids. And believe me, every program does not have this level of support. So if you're not one of these people, maybe find a few Saturdays that you can donate some time and effort into this as well, because you'll see that a lot of the jobs are done by some of the same people. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But for the first thing I want to mention is that we have to bring a lot of equipment, so we usually have at least 2 trailers, or a trailer and a truck, or 2 trailers and a truck. And I'd like to recognize Richard and Tia Lopez and Les Kenny, who did most of the driving. But anyone that... We're gonna clap for everybody. So if you did any driving or equipment crew help, those guys headed up the equipment crew as well. Any of those people that did any of that work and worked with us on equipment or moving equipment, go ahead and stand up. And keep standing. I remember asking one of our dads, Mr. Laguna, who does a lot of welding. That's what he does for a living, in fact. He owns a company and has employees. I said, hey, and I drew something on the board. I said, could you make 6 of these? And he goes, and he asked some questions, and then he goes, yeah. And then literally 14 hours later, we had them. That's just amazing, the amount of work and dedication people like that put in. Uniforms was headed up by Wendy Swartz and Thesia Rogers. If you helped with uniforms, stand up. Our dinners this year, our dinners have run so smoothly. It was run by Melissa Falvo and lots of volunteers. So if you've helped with food, go ahead and stand up. If you helped out Jim and Susan Stoff with the water crew, please stand up. Or if you were Jim and Stoff and Susan Stoff. Spirit sales, anybody that helped at the spirit sales table with Lisa Ann Barber, go ahead and stand up. Hey, do you notice that some of these things I say it and not very many people stand up, if any? That's because those people are doing more than one job and they're already standing. So, pick a job, pick one small thing and do it. You won't be disappointed helping out your kids. You'll never be disappointed if you make sure that it's about them. And by the way, we have stuff. We have spirit sales stuff up in the lobby. Please pick some up. We had just amazing videos and photos this year, videos of every show, and most of the run-throughs at rehearsals. Those were done by Bob Dieter, and our photos were done by Patrick Brown. Our chaperone coordinator was Brianna Irvin, and any parents who chaperoned with her, go ahead and stand up. Jamie Booth ran U of A concessions, and Elise Kogura did butter braids. Those are all to help our kids raise money for their fees. And then if you did anything with those people, go ahead and stand up, and those people stand up. And all of our band parents and our president, Monica Crawford of Rumba, and any Rumba officers that aren't standing already, go ahead and stand up. If you helped out in any other way, volunteered to help out at any other event or rehearsal or anything, go ahead and stand up. And our volunteer coordinator that coordinates all these people is Renee Glaufelty. She should stand up, and anybody else that did any volunteering, please stand up. Okay, all those people help. Please give them one big round of applause. And when I say help, I genuinely mean we couldn't deliver the kind of experience our kids get without those people. And you know, when we're having football games and there's a visiting band, they're always amazed. They come over to our side and we give them cups of water, and they're all treated really well. And I've had many band directors say, hey, could you maybe sit down with me and explain to me how you trained your parents to do all that stuff? And I was like, yeah, we should set something up. And because I don't know how it happens, but we have great parents, and I appreciate it, and I wish everybody got involved like they did. I also like to thank our administration who, you know, this is the biggest group in the district that travels, so you can bet that many of the rules and forms that we have to fill out and stuff aren't really designed for a group our size or for a group that travels as much as we do. So it's often a little bit of a battle between us and the district, and our admin fights that battle for us most of the time. And I'd like to thank our admin, I'll name them all. I don't know if any of them are here, I hope they are. But our principals, Amy Sislak, Alyssa Welch, Joel Basalia, Andrea Evans, Pablo Madrid, Red Morrow, and our activities director, Dave Lepeau, our secretaries in the office, and counselors and staff, and all of our faculty at the school that supports what we do when kids have to miss classes and stuff like that. I'd like to give them all a big hand. Thank you. And then the other thing is that, you know, teaching band nowadays, the idea that there's one band director or even two band directors, those days are gone. If you want to be competitive, you have to have a decent staff. And so I'm going to read through the staff names really quick. First of all, of course, my assistant, Ronnie Sanders, where are you? Our color guard staff headed up by Nicole Hamilton and Missy Hurtado, Trevor Bigelow, Sarah Leon, Janae Johnson, and Madison Manley Neagle while she was here. Give them a big hand. cheer got noticeably higher pitched. I also like to mention all of our percussion staff: Laura Glazer, Melina Rodriguez, Mitch Allison, Phoebe Hughes, Brandon Olander, Alex Samoy Alvarado, Lucas Velasco, and Christian Peralta. But most of all, and I think he's here tonight, my best friend, Mark Leversedge. I think he's here, right? And then our winds and visual staff. And by the way, if any of these people are here, they should stand up and be recognized. I'm sorry. Our winds and visual staff: Abby James, Quinn Jarecki, Jacob Lithgow, Jenny Thornton, Cliff Weston, Lauren O'Donnell, Mike Arantia. By the way, is Danny Arantia here? Oh my God. Stand up. Honestly, if it wasn't for Danny, I wouldn't be teaching today. That's no lie. So if you like what I do, you should go give him a handshake, and if you don't, you should run him out of here. Hey, I'm glad you're here. And then our design team that designed the show was Nicole Hamilton, Mark Leversedge, Martin Hedda, and Ryan Springling. I'd also like to thank, I don't know if he's here tonight, but I'd also like to thank my friend Luke Hewlett, who does all of our t-shirt designs, manages the website, is creating the printed program that we're going to take to Chicago soon, and all that stuff. He's done a great job. I don't think he's here tonight, is that right? Okay, so we don't have to clap. Also, no, I'm serious. Also, another thing that, you know, at least the way I'm used to running band, I couldn't do it without them. You know, when we go to student leadership stuff, other schools bring like 8 people or 10 people. That's the only student leaders they have. The way we do it is a little bit different. We have a band of 210 people. I think we have 45 positions filled by student leaders, and they are self-starting people for the most part, and they really rocked this year. Rehearsals ran smooth and ran on time, and I'd like to thank all of our student leaders. Go ahead and stand up. Especially our awesome drum majors, which had the really difficult task of being drum majors, where all 4 of them were brand new: Zach Bell, Caleb Owen, Ashley Chen, and Rachel Whitaker. Stipends from Ms. Hamilton, and both of them made very generous donations to our upcoming jazz trip to the Midwest Clinic. I want to talk about that for just 1 minute. The jazz band is going to a thing called the Midwest Clinic in Chicago. This is an event. It sounds like we're going to go and someone's going to like clinic the band. That's not really what it is. It's a weird name, but it's the biggest instrumental music education conference in the world. Started in 1946 with about 200 band directors in a YMCA gymnasium. Last year it was at the McCormick Center in Chicago, and there were 17,000 participants. They have a vendor floor that's 3 football fields in size, of just all vendors that are, you know, showing instruments and music and different kinds of products. And then throughout the week there's educational sessions that both directors can go to and kids can go to. And they've had bands and orchestras. And remember, this is not choir, this is not general music, this is just band and orchestra. And they've always had groups apply and be invited to come and perform. Since 1947 was the first year they invited groups to perform at it. And so I decided to send in an application last year, and it's quite a big job to even apply. You have to send in videos and audio tapes and photos and bios, and you have to have letters of recommendation from other music educators in your state and things like that. And I thought, well, the first year we apply, I'll just get used to the process, and then we'll just keep applying, and hopefully we'll get in someday. And then we were immediately accepted. In fact, one of the board members for the Midwest Clinic kind of told me that we were the only unanimous group that was unanimously chosen. Also, since 1946, there's only been 15 groups chosen from Arizona, and will only be the third jazz band to be picked from Arizona. And so I decided to see who else has gone. So I went to 1946 and looked at the groups, and most of them I'd never heard of. But I did find out that we're now the only group that's going to go from Arizona that's outside the Phoenix area. So really good job. And the reason we can go is because of just super generous donations, some by parents of the kids in the band, and then, like I said, from the two school councils really stepped up and helped us out, and it's going to be a fantastic trip. On December 14th, this is the first event that I've ever run here where we're going to charge money for. It's called the Giant Steps Jazz Concert, and you can buy the tickets online. On our website, and you can buy them here, I believe, outside in the lobby. They're $5 a piece. If you're a jazz parent, you're going to get 2 tickets. Each jazz person is going to get 2 tickets donated to them. But everybody else, please come out and support that. This band is going to play an hour-long set, and the second jazz band will play 4 or 5 tunes as well. So make sure that you make plans to do that. It's on a Friday night, so it could be date night or whatever. So make sure you're coming to that. I also wanted to thank a couple people that are really important to me, probably the 2 most important people to me. One of them is my wife, Don Marshall. I mean, she's pretty cool, and she lets me spend a lot of long hours. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe she doesn't want me. Anyway, no, she's super supportive, and she does an amazing job running the middle school night. This year, I think we had 72 people here at middle school night. So I think that one of the reasons that we stay as big as we are, the program stays as big as we are, is because it starts with middle school night and it starts with Mrs. Marchand. So thank you very much. And then there's one other person that it'd be hard for me to do this job without, and that's Mrs. Spencer. So I'd like to thank her. So we've been having this experience lately. we get to school and I say, hey, can you work on this document? She says, sure, and she hits a couple buttons, and then she goes, and I go, do you have that done yet? She goes, still opening. And then she goes, okay, I did it, but when I hit save, just a white window comes up. And then we sit there, us, trying to figure it out, well, what if you did save as? Same thing. What if you saved it as a text file? So anyway, finally I got sick of that because I'm a little ADD, and I kept clicking on things to bring them up, and by the time they came up, I couldn't remember what I was going to open or do. And so then, you know, if you can get an IT guy there, he goes, well, here's the problem. You have 100 tabs open. I'm like, that's because I started on that tab, and while it was loading, I opened this tab. And then I clicked on something, and 5 tabs opened at once. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I brought my own laptop and found a way to connect to the internet, and it's been so much nicer. And so she's like this, and I'm like, it's working fine for me. And she's like, I can't even get Excel open. And I'm like, I got it open and I saved it and I closed it already. And she's like, well, this is nice. So that's kind of the way it works in my office, so I decided she's going to get a new laptop too. So, thank you. Okay, so we got a couple things to say, and then we're going to get on with the show. First of all, please do your tax credit. Half of it can go towards your kid for travel. The other half of it also goes to the band to pay for our expenses. So it's not like only half of it goes to the band. It all goes to the band. Next year there's going to be a trip. So in addition to your band camp expense, make sure that you're putting money in your IML for the trip. Also, we're looking for members. Every year we graduate out kids, and therefore we graduate out parents as well. So the Rumba Board is looking for members. So if you're interested, just start coming to the meetings. They're every second Tuesday, except a couple get changed because of holidays and whatnot. So check the calendar. Our next one is on December 11th. We also have eat out nights once a month. And hey, if you're going to eat out at all, do it on those nights because it helps us pay our monthly bills. We have insurance bills on our equipment. We have liability insurance. We have to pay staff members and stuff like that. We don't get any help for that. So little things like just taking your family to dinner at Panda on December 12th helps a lot. Cool? All right. We have a couple of awards to give out as well. Is Miss Hamilton here? She might want to give out one of these. Hey, look, there's people leaving, and I'm sure they're going to buy jazz tickets. So we give out an award. Listen. The first time people get into marching band, they're like, "Oh, marching band, it's like walking and playing." I do that all the time. And then their eyes get big as they realize how much detail goes into how we march. And so we give out an Outstanding Rookie Marcher Award, someone that picks it up fast and real fast, looks like they've been doing it for more than a year, blends in with all the returners. And there's a bunch of them that could win this award, but we have to pick one. And so we try to pick one that I think is the kind of person and the kind of marcher that we want from everyone. If everyone emulated people like this, and there's more than one, but I picked one. We picked one, the staff and I. And this year's award for Outstanding Rookie Marcher goes to Hannah Peck.
every year when the guard staff gets together to start talking about who are we going to give the Outstanding Guard Performer Award to, usually there's a few names that show up over and over. And this person that we're going to give this Outstanding Performer Award to, she's just been somebody that year after year, it's been 4 years now, every year she's like, wow, look at her, she's amazing. Look at her, she's amazing. And so it is about time we give this award to Carolina Oliva Martinez.
Next, we give out an award that's just for Outstanding Marcher for the whole band. And this year, it almost always goes to someone that you don't notice that much. You don't notice them because their interval's good, their feet look good, their legs are straight, and they're always standing on their dot, and they're always at standby when they're supposed to be at standby. This person does all that stuff perfectly, and it's going to Christina Valencia. Then we have a perennial award that stays up on the wall. This is for marching section of the year, and this is I would say mostly it's about their marching ability and how well they march as a section, but also about their personality as a section. And believe me, every section has a personality. And this is a group. This is a section that if you told me even just 4 years ago that I'd be giving them an award, I would have said no way, but they pulled off a really kind of amazing culture change, and this year it goes to the Barry Saxes. Just stand up. Just stand up and be recognized, Barry Saxes. And then our last award is Outstanding Musician for Marching Band, and this is one that we give to someone who is always setting the example by practicing in public. And this person is often seen at lunch, working not only on their parts but on their etudes, and they spend a lot of time learning this stuff and playing it in a musical way. This person is doing it all with no lessons, at least as far as I know so far, last time I checked. And the amount of improvement this person has made since I've known them is pretty amazing. But again, we have a bunch of kids like this. So they're all doing great, but the one that kept coming up to us is Dylan Laus. We're going to do one more tune, and then we're going to have a short intermission while we change the stage over. During that time, you could go buy jazz tickets. You could go buy some merchandise in the hallway. You could, listen, if you're a jazz parent, you could go sign up to do something. to get ready for the jazz trip. We have the next meeting coming up. It's on the calendar for fundraising. We're going to be handing out little small jobs that need to be done before our jazz concert so that we can raise enough money to make it on this trip. So please, if you're a jazz parent, you haven't done anything yet, get involved and make sure that we take care of this group up here. We're going to do one more tune. It's a brand new tune called Been There, Done That by Chris McGee. Let's hear one more big hand for all the award winners and all the volunteers and everybody that's helped out.